Hello,
Hello, welcome to Beauty and the Spirit. I'm Tina Thompson.
and I am Josef, and thank you for joining us this evening. How are you, Mrs. Tina?
I am doing fabulous, honey. I am living.
Look amazing in the feathers, the eyelashes, all of it. You are giving me drama, and I live. I am so
Yes,
excited we are doing this show today.
yes, I'm excited. I'm excited for this show simply for the fact that everything is everything, but it could be more if it's legendary.
Magic.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited for this show simply for the fact that everything is everything, but it could be more if it's legendary.
Legendary. Yes.
Legendary. Yes, honey.
We have
We
some
are,
great guests today, right?
yes, I was getting to say, we are packed jam with legendariness, if it is a word. Yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
we are packed jam. This show, Beauty in the Spirit, as you know, Mr. Joseph, it is meant to inspire. It is meant to talk about the fitness of life, to empower. It is meant for inclusion. It is meant for everybody to feel as if they play a part as an artist. Am I correct?
Exactly. We all have a piece of the puzzle and we all make this world a beautiful place. Whether it's dance, whether it's theater, acting, house music, all of it, the ballroom scene, we all play a part in this new world and being the new pioneers to make a difference and people unite. That's what we need right now.
Absolutely. Well, that being said, we both welcome you to this new edition, Dance in the New World. How are we approaching our audiences? Today, we have a very special show for you, as we have said, but we will be in discussion and in dialogue with some of the great minds in our artistic community. But before we bring on our legendary first special guest, we must examine a timeline of a brief history in dance. As you know, from the 15th through the 19th centuries, we have court dancing to romanticism. But I decided before that there was dance from the motherland, the archives of Africa, and the deserts of all of the earth, where the tribal dances accumulated and they brought forth this diaspora of growth and people and love and drum and all of it. But through that, we understand that after the 15th and 19th century, and you had your court dancing and romanticism, early 20th century, you have ballet to contemporary dance. And the late 20th and early 21st centuries, we had that genre of dance. But after that explosion of modern dance in the 20th centuries, the 60s saw the growth of postmodernism. Postmodernism towards simplicity, the beauty of small things, the beauty of the untrained body and unsophisticated movement. The famous No Manifesto rejecting all costumes, stories, and outer trappings in favors of raw and polished movement was perhaps the extreme in this wave. But unfortunately, the lack of costumes, stories, and outer trappings did not make a good dance show for some. But it was not long before it set the decor and shock volume that we have re-entered the vocabulary of modern dance choreography. By the 1980s, dance had come full circle, and modern dance, by this time, Mr. Woodson, it was called and coined contemporary dance. It was clearly still a high technical and political, notice I said political, vehicle for many practitioners. Existing alongside classical ballet, the two art forms were now living peacefully next door to one another with little of the rivalry and antipathy of previous eras. The present times see us most shocking work here, there, but however, these are still glimpses of the beauty that is to be had and shared. And much incredible dancing and joy in an age where dance technique has progressed further in expertise, strength, flexibility, and more than ever in history. Collaboration.
Mm.
So, in conclusion, what am I saying is that at the same time, the mass culture has experienced expansion of street dance. Soul Train performances with black dancers ignited a street culture revolution in a sense. B-boying in New York, locking in LA, popping in California, boogaloo in Oakland, California, robot in Richmond, and all their own creative explosions happened around the 60s and 70s, each with their own histories in hand, as innovators and serving as foundation. What am I saying, Mr. Woodson, is that
Mhm.
what I'm adding to this Wikipedia epic is the role of the house dance artists and
Right.
their contributions to dance. and the arts extending to the new world of minds and movement through expression as they serve as trailblazers for many, taking the music and dance cultures to clubs around the world, bringing us to recognize who, what, when, and how we approach dance in the new world.
Yes. Christina,
So,
that was beautiful. I agree 100%. I believe that back in the day, there was this division, this separation between the modern dance world, the ballet world, even like the dance world. And now we're at a point where we all need each other. In order to survive in this new world, we all need to collaborate. We all are inspired by each other. And we all need to recognize that we are all artists and we are important. And the arts are important.
Mr. Woodson, our show is just, it's going to get bigger and bigger.
Yes, I mean, we need to give the time for all of these legendary people. And again, going back to you, Mrs. Tina, you do it all. I don't think people realize that you do the marketing, the choreography, the producing, the all of it, making the music. It's like you are truly a Renaissance woman, and we want to thank you for this platform and for bringing these legendary
I'm
guests.
taking it in from every artist that I love and respect, including our young artists. Mr. Woodson, speaking of our young artists, we have a lot of young people who are doing some very detrimental damage to this world of dance. Yes, honey. Look at the child. Look at the kids. Look at that gesture. Do you see that gesture right there? Yes. Well, let me tell you, before the grand entrance amongst the legendary, our next guest is Solomon Dumas. This is the thing that I came across in my research.
Yes.
Then I have my own personal stories, but I'll keep that to the banner for later because that's going to go in my book. But I'm going to go here with it on a very political, professional sense. What struck my attention about this young artist is that he was deemed by the Chicago Sun-Times as the volcanic Solomon Dumas. And that struck a chord in me because volcanic. And it struck me because a volcano, as you know, it doesn't erupt all the time. It's festering. You know, it has its own way of continuing the lava, the volcanic lava that is about to immerse out into the universe and onto the ground. And you know that a volcano also, it creates new land. It creates new territory. So all of that, before Miss Thompson goes into her choreographic escapade of the mind, I would like you to know that Solomon Dumas, he was introduced to dance through early camp. He later began his formal training at the Chicago Academy for the Arts and the Russell Talbot Dance Studio, where he received his most influential training. Mr. Dumas studied at the New World School of the Arts and was a fellowship level 1 student at the Ailey School. See, the kids don't know about that fellowship, and that's a whole other thing. That means that you're the big cheese. Okay, he has performed with companies including Garfagan Dance, Ronald K. Brown Evidence, a dance company, and Labyrinth Dance Theater, and was a member of Ailey too. Mr. Dumas joined the Ailey Company in 2016. We welcome you, Solomon Dumas.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I am so inspired. I'm just like every guest that come before, they've just been sharing so much inspiration, and I'm just learning so much, and I'm just so honored to be a part of so many creative artists and innovative, educated, just amazing people. Amazing people. It's really inspiring. I'm living my life.
Well, let me tell you something. You have, like I just read, that's just a bit. You know, we can't read everybody's full bio up here, but we do it on Beauty in the Spirit because it is our homage to you. And as a young pioneer, I consider you a new pioneer. And that being said, I'm very, very intrigued at your way and that you use your experience as a young performer. I have watched you over the years. Not only are you are so respectful to your mentors, you have also put a platform for other young dancers through mentioning your experience and your initial inception at different schools through their camp programs. And you never hid your history of where you came from and how you started. And that is something I admire about you, is that you never deny your past. And of course, where you are is very, very amazing as well. So that's something that I just admire. So I just want you to know that you are definitely setting the stage for our young pioneers. Keep doing what you're doing because you are definitely respectful and a good role model for the young people to follow.
Thank
What we need to know from you today is, as a new pioneer, where do you see dance in the new world going? How are you approaching it?
Well, okay, so this is an amazing question. During when the pandemic happened, we were in the middle of the tour. Italy was we were on our 13-week domestic U.S. tour, and canceled. Right? We thought it was only going to be canceled for 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned into 4 weeks, and then the whole tour canceled. And so we were left to go back to the drawing board, right? So we had to really refocus and re-envision how we can have a presence as artists and continue to engage with the communities. And so the dancers, we decided to create a platform created by us and directed by us and curated by us. And that platform became really all access. And so we all created all types of movement. We the ballets that we currently have in the repertoire. And we filmed them all in our different places throughout the US. Everybody wasn't back to New York. And so, but what an amazing thing that happened was that, the company like this we're always on go. I call it, like, I can say it, microwave dancing, right? Because we're so busy creating, we're so busy learning new works, we're so busy in the studio learning new ballets, trying to get everything, trying to put out a new piece. We had like 22 pieces in the rep. And so it gave us time to definitely gave us time to go back to the drawing board and recreate, go back home, recreate, and just take a minute, take a pause from touring, like the rigorous tour schedule that we have. And so one thing that I appreciate about this time is that it gave us time to just take a break and silence ourselves, because sometimes you sometimes, I don't like to admit this, but sometimes as artists we go on autopilot. Like we can do like 8 shows within a week, and we can tour like 4 cities within 1 week. So you're like literally on the road, performance after performance after performance, flight, performance, flight, performance, flight, performance, flight, performance. And of course, like Casadine said, your body and you're like physically and mentally drained. And so I really love this period because it gives me a time to come back rejuvenated. It gives me time to explore it, and it's a time of introspection for me, if that makes any sense. Also, amazingly enough, I've been given the opportunity to see ballets that I've never been able to see done. Like, I've seen Cry in its entirety, but I had never seen Judith Jamison perform Cry.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And I had never seen Dancing of Harlem had just released footage from 1974, I believe. I might be making that year up, but I think Miss KB was in that video of Douglas. And just to see,
I was in that video, and you're right on. It's 1974. That's when it
yeah. I got it. Okay, cool. So 1974, and just to see,
Eva is always lurking.
I love it. So it's just to see the work being done, at a generation before my generation, and to see how it's supposed to be done. Like I can have this conversation. I can be frank. Oftentimes, we get notes as dancers, right? They tell us, "Oh, that was dry. Oh, you need to work." You know what I mean? Like, I think dancers now we're definitely focused more on physicality versus like the emotion that's needed. And I like to see Miss Jamison perform, to see what it's about, to see the story. You get lost in the story, to see Google, to see just a couple of weeks ago I got a chance to see Blue Suite. And I watched.
Solomon, Miss Tina loves you. You look how handsome he is. I mean, first of all, look, I told him for years, we're gonna give him too much up here, that baby face. This is what I'm doing. Trust me, Miss Tina has a strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of all of that, we get it. This is about you.
Mm-hmm. So I've had the opportunity to see what dance is supposed to be. Learn from the older generation. Like I said before, I got a chance to see the duet with Blue Sweet, the Backwater Blues with Gary Below and Marilyn Banks. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is dance. This is art. You kind of forget that these are two dancers. I thought I was watching a soap opera. You know what I mean? I have all these conversations with dancers my age. And there's this weird balance of dancers saying, oh, these dancers didn't have technique or these dancers didn't have that. But I feel like we can learn something because those dancers have technique. But the difference is that their technique supported their artistry. They had the technique, but you got lost in the story. I forgot I was watching the album in American Dance Theater.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was just watching theater. I think I was watching just like two entities together. Like I saw like this man and woman, and I was immediately transported to this like into their bedroom, and it was the most amazing thing. So this is the time that I get a chance to watch these ballets, and I'm being trained watching these ballets. This is the time for it, I believe. I mean, I feel like I'm in the studio with you. I feel like, and I feel like you asked the question before, like, what do I see dance coming? I feel like this is the time where we can use this virtual presence that we have, that we all rely on right now, because this is all we have. But I'm a child of outreach, right? And I feel like it is my mission, it's our duty to use this to actually go back into the communities, and because we have no excuse now. Before it was like, oh, like, I don't have the time to fly back to Chicago. Oh no, we get those kids when we come out of quarantine, get those kids in one room, put the projector on, boom, come on, let's talk. Let's have rehearsal. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a question and answer. Like this is the time. This is the time. This is where I see dance going. I feel like it's
Absolutely. That is where I was getting you to go. I was getting you to go because I know that you always pay homage to your ancestors and the shoulders you stand on. Or you wouldn't even be up here with Tina Thompson. No, I'm just saying to you, it's because everyone knows, outside of me, first of all, quiet as kept, like I read. The costumes, the flamboyance, all of it. But everybody knows without an eyelash or a feather, I get down for my crown. So I don't need this costume and the flamboyancy. Okay, it's just who I am. Shout out to Jeffrey Holder.
Yeah.
So moving on, yes, honey, yes. It's just who, and then I got that from him. It's just who I am. It's just who he was. Shout out to Leo Holder, his son. It's just who he was. So Solomon Dumas, that's who you are. That you from day one, you've never moved from the trueness of who you are, and that's what I wanted you to get to show, is that you are the new pioneers of youth going forward. You have to guide, you have to hold and carry this light from all the people's shoulders you stand on by keeping that same humble spirit and keeping that wisdom. I've always told you from day one, before you were in any company, I said, you are a very wise young man. And the way you treated me, you said you held the door for me, you got something for me, I'll never forget it. I said, look how he treats his elders. And don't you say elders to me, because listen, okay, but I said, look how he, and at the time I was in my 30s, child, that's a whole nother situation. But I said, look how he treats, I mean, I know I'm not the only woman or man that you make feel important in your presence. You always go out your way, and you are a phenomenal dancer. So it just shows who you are. You could lean on your artistry, but you never take away from the person that you are of all the years I've known you. Now, my post is a whole nother story I'll do behind the scenes, but I'm gonna let that slide, okay? But I just outside of who you are, I just think you have a lot of people that admire your spirit. And I am one of them, and so is Mr. Woodson, and so is all of the cast, or all of the panel of Beauty in the Spirit. And I need to give you some final words of what you would tell the youth of today.
Yes. Stay encouraged to stay in the studio. stay in the studio. And then now the studio is your home. You know what I mean? So there's never a dull moment. Continue to train, continue to work on your body, continue to search for character. Take notes. Um, take the positive and the negative. One can't exist without the other. You know what I mean? You just can't take compliments all the time. If you receive a positive compliment, you have to receive a negative compliment. But what we
Yeah.
deem negative is only going to continue to develop you. That's it. And then moving on. Moving on.
We thank you. I would say, Mr. Woodson, we need to coin him. I would say the youthful, gorgeous, elegant Solomon Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you for your presence. Thank you. Yes.
Stay safe.
Wow. Stay safe. Yes.
Now, I really want to say that he pays homage to the people who came before him, and that's why he's so great. I mean, I think it's been wonderful that during the pandemic, that people who not only see certain shows or see a Broadway show are able to actually go and watch those videos online. I think it's all about access. When you have that access, it can inspire you to continue to work, to seek out, and to do better and to do better.